Yeah. Thank you for calling. Oh, I should get my book out. All right. Ms. Johnson. Hi.
How are you?
Oh, no, sorry, we didn't, the meeting place kept moving around, my apologies. If you don't mind, I'm gonna get us started. All right, good evening. Can you all hear me? No. Is the mic on, or do I need to turn it on? Is-
Are the mics on? Okay.
Oh, just for, but it doesn't actually magnify the sound? Got it. So I need to talk really loudly? Wonderful. Good evening. It's so nice to see you all. Tonight is Monday, November 26th, and we're having the regular board meeting of the Charlottesville Redevelopment and Housing Authority. May I have a roll call of commissioners, please?
Chair Jones,
Present.
Vice Chair Whitker, Commissioner Bellamy, Commissioner Oliver,
Here.
Commissioner Osteen,
Here.
Commissioner Slaughter,
Here.
Commissioner Talbert.
Here. Thank you. And now we'll have a brief moment of silence. Thank you. We are having an abbreviated meeting this evening because at 6 o'clock we'll begin a joint session with City Council discussing the future of redevelopment in public housing. So for the next 45 minutes, we're going to focus on this agenda, which is primarily about our annual plan and our 5-year plan. And we'll begin this evening first with an opportunity for general public comments, followed by an opportunity for comments specifically about the 5-year and annual plans. So if you have general comments not related to the plan, now is a good time to come forward.
My name's Sonny Bell, I'm out of Riverside. I'm just wondering what's going on with the maintenance committee. We're supposed to be getting it started and nothing's have happened. And this is what happened last time, we started something and it didn't get started. So I'd just like to know what's going on with the maintenance committee.
Okay. Are there any other comments this evening, Ms. Wilcox? You can stand right there if you'd like.
Good evening. My name is Annette Wilcox. I'm currently residing at 1400 Monticello Road at apartment 102 in Charlottesville, Virginia. I was actually wondering if results of the 2019 through 2024 means remodeling of public housing at Crescent Halls that I saw on TV. If I have any concerns, I'll try to. What should I read about from the Charlottesville Weekly Magazine eventually.
Or Charlottesville Tomorrow?
For Charlottesville. Piedmont Housing Alliance at Friendship Court and some sites at public housing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there other comments at this time? If not, we will then open the hearing for comments on the 5-year and annual plans.
Is there a way to respond to the maintenance committee?
Oh, yeah, I can respond.
Oh,
I'm sorry about that.
sorry. Pardon me, yes, a
No
response.
problem. As far as the maintenance committee is concerned, we've had several meetings in the past. Currently, we were waiting for FAR and for board members to return back from out of town. And there are some dates right now being negotiated to get set on the calendar. We just have to get some dates cleared first before we can put them on the calendar so that everybody can be present. We will be notifying everyone as soon as we get those dates in.
Okay. Are there other comments or questions from the board? All right, then. So call for public comment in the public hearing on the CRHA 5-year plan and annual plan.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I work for FAR, Public Housing Association of Residents at 1000 Preston Avenue, Suite C, 434-985-3255, and you can find us at www.farcville.org. FAR is the duly elected, duly recognized Resident Advisory Council and Resident Advisory Board for public housing in Charlottesville. And as the duly elected Resident Advisory Board, we will be submitting comments and questions about the annual plan and the 5-year plan to you as soon as possible, to which you are supposed to respond, and that gets included in the plan that you submit. We do ask for a couple things. We know it's been a shortened process. It's always been a frustration. I think everybody's done a good job of kind of summarizing this rolling strategy for the future. And I think we're all, pretty much in alignment by just judging by your goals in the annual plan and 5-year plan. FAR would specifically like to request current versions of all the other documentation that gets submitted. We like to compare that to previous years. And there's a couple of issues that typically pop up. One is the relationship with the housing authority and the police is often misstated in the annual plan. I have some thoughts on, whose fault that is for there not being a good relationship there. But maybe that's something that can spur on a better relationship as you get into the annual plan. The other is how the annual plan relates to the consolidated plan for the area. In the past, the consolidated plan has not been terribly consistent with itself, and you all are required to be consistent with an inconsistent document. So I think this year it's a little better, but it's worth taking a look through and identifying, and we'll do that as we compare the plans. But we would like to see those things, and we will be submitting comments. And as far as moving forward on redevelopment, I think everybody's clear on where FAR stands. I didn't comment earlier, but FAR is in support of the change to the Charlottesville Development Corporation's bylaws and the seating that will be occurring tonight to help move things into the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other comments on the 5-year and annual plans? I should state that these are documents that we send to HUD. We send every 5 years a 5-year plan laying out what we see coming forward for the Housing Authority and the goals that we're working on. And then we provide an annual update to HUD on those goals about the progress that we've made and laying forth, sort of smaller steps that we hope to take each year to reach the big goals laid out in the 5-year plan. So even if it's just a question, if you have any thoughts or questions or things you want to make sure that the Housing Authority has included in those plans, please let us know. And if there aren't comments at this time, I'll open it up to the board for discussion, thoughts, comments, questions on our plans. I believe we did have a work session on the annual plans last week. All the changes and things that we discussed at that work session have been incorporated into this draft. Mr. Duffield, would you like to say anything?
Sure. Chairwoman Jones, members of the commission, before you this evening, you have both draft 5-year and annual plans. As Chairwoman Jones explained, these are documents that are submitted to HUD periodically. Within the 5-year plan, which is behind tab 2, you'll see attachment B, which spells out the authority's projected goals for the upcoming 5-year period. These goals were discussed, vetted, both with the community during community meetings and at the workshop last, I believe, Monday with the commission. They reflect the priorities and the values that the commission sees for the organization and provides these for us to use as we move forward in the coming months. Tab attachment 3B is a progress statement on the existing 5-year plan, the retiring 5-year plan. It's on page 8 of 10, and it provides, again, comment as to things that have been achieved or the status of the goals that were set forth in the previous 5-year plan. As with both the 5-year plan and the annual plan, there are sort of boilerplate documentation has to be included. The final 5-year and annual plans that come before the board in 45 days will have those documents included with the plan for the board's adoption at that time.
Thank you. Comments or questions from the board?
Following this evening's meeting, the 5-year plan and the annual plan will be placed out for public comment for I believe a 45-day comment period, following which the board will be asked to take the comments received from the public as incorporated within the plans and adopt the final plans for submission to HUD.
Excellent. Well, if there aren't comments or questions at this time, I do just want to say thank you to the board and staff for the time that you have put into creating this this document, and most importantly, a thank you to our stakeholders and our residents for the time and input that they gave into creating this plan. We had initial conversations with FAR back in the spring that began to shape this document in terms of really trying to organize it so it was a much more logical and easier document to follow and read, followed by a series of public meetings that were held at all of our sites earlier this fall, our work session last week, and here we are tonight, and I feel like there's a lot of synergy and agreement around our goals and the direction we're heading, and I'm very excited about that. So thank you all. If there are no other comments or questions at this time, I do need a motion to accept this plan as presented and put it out for comment.
I would move acceptance of the annual plan and the 5-year plan as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and we'll look forward to a final in January. Thank you. Thank you all for your work on this. Next on our brief agenda this evening is a discussion of the CDC and appointment of commissioners to the Community Development Corporation. As many of you know, for many years, there has been talk of formalizing and putting into action a community development corporation to act as a nonprofit sister agency to the Housing Authority to assist with redevelopment efforts. And the nature of that organization and who is on it and how it would work has been proposed several different times and changed different times. And the reality is that it has existed on paper, but has never actually come to life, and officers have never been officially seated. Under the last iteration of this, there was a set of bylaws that were created that called for an appointment of 9 officers, and we would like to seat those 9 tonight, and then officially call on them to meet briefly to make changes to those bylaws that would then actually revert the CDC's governance status back to being identical to the Board of the Housing Authority, so that the CDC and the Housing Authority have the same commissioners. And that will allow for the CDC to quickly, smoothly, and legally come into action and to be a full partner and a sister organization going forward with redevelopment. And it is something that our development partners and others in the community are eagerly awaiting us to do. Before we move forward, I have a brief memo if you all would like to have this that sort of lays out what we were just discussing. And our goal tonight then is to appoint 9 members to a CDC board. And then when this meeting concludes, those 9 members, who will mostly be ourselves, will briefly get together, call a meeting of the CDC, make a change to the bylaws of that CDC, calling for the CDC's governance structure to be a mirror of the Housing Authority Board, and then conclude that meeting. And then the CDC will be officially set. Does anyone have questions?
So one question I have, excuse me, for the creation of the CDC in regards to the makeup of the board, just for the public's information, who do we envision, or what kind of individuals do we envision? Is it X amount of members from the Housing Authority Board, a certain amount of residents? Do we want people with different levels of expertise? If we could just go through that.
In the final iteration of our actions tonight, the CDC's board will be the same as the Housing Authority Board.
Okay.
There will not be any change to that.
Just so individuals know. So, I mean, just so it's clear, essentially, the Housing Authority Board will be the board of the CDC.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And along those lines, it ensures that we have resident representation on that CDC board at all times, because
Understood.
we always have strong resident representation on the Housing Authority Board.
Understood. Okay.
Are there other comments or questions?
Yeah, can you make that easier for everybody else to understand?
What part?
Does the audience have questions? Is it clear what our plan is? Okay. Good. Yes, ma'am. No, just talk loud.
Oh, okay. But you said it would be a 9-member board, so how would you get your other 2 board members?
Thank you. Great question. So our first step this evening is to go by the CDC's old bylaws and appoint 9 members. 3 of whom are required to be low-income city residents, 2 of whom are CRHA commissioners, 1 of whom is a city councilor, 1 of whom is an at-large member of our community. All 6 of those seats, all 7 of those seats can be filled already by people on the Housing Authority Board. And the final 2 people that are initially included are employees of the city of Charlottesville, who we will appoint tonight. And then they will subsequently meet and get rid of that requirement so that the board becomes just this, just the Housing Authority Board.
So will you be appointing before you go into your private meeting? I mean, into the
joint
CDC
session.
meeting, or you would do that after?
If there are no other comments at this time, I would like to propose a slate of officers for the CDC.
Second.
All
Or, excuse me, is that a motion?
Not yet. How about I name the officers and then one of you move it?
Sure.
Okay, I would like to name as the officers of the CDC, Miss Audrey Oliver, Miss Latita Talbert, myself, Julie Jones, Betsy Retker, and she's not here, but we're still naming her to this board, Carolyn Slaughter, Wes Bellamy, and Mike Osteen. And in addition, I would also like to name Miss Brenda Kelly as a representative of the city, and the final city seat will be filled at another time,
To be determined.
to be determined. But that is enough for a quorum of a CDC. Are there questions or comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'd like to move forward a motion for the Charlottesville Housing Redevelopment Authority to appoint the 8 members as just spoken on from our chairwoman, Ms. Julie Jones, as those individuals to be appointed to the newly recognized CDC for the City of Charlottesville Housing Authority.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Yay! So, with that, we have moved so quickly through our agenda. I believe we do have time for public comment. If anyone else has anything that they'd like to comment on this evening before I adjourn the meeting of the Housing Authority.
Well, wait, I think it's important for us to note that this is something that literally housing authorities have been working on for, people can't hear me?
We're not done yet, though.
The mic's not on?
No, these aren't on there, just for recording purposes.
Oh, people have been working on this literally for a lot of years, and for this housing authority to be able to move forth with the adoption and the appointment, just moving forward in that step of members to the CDC, I think is a huge step. So thank you for your work, Chairwoman Jones, as well as all of the members of staff and the rest of the board, Mr. Duffield and Mr. Norris, and all the community members who worked on this. It is definitely not to be taken lightly. So good job.
Thank you. And thank you to our community partners who share their vision here. Is there any public comment as we conclude our meeting tonight?
Hi, Brandon from FAR. Really quickly, I definitely encourage you to encourage the newly seated CDC to meet as soon as possible, potentially within the next 25 minutes to move forward with forming that into an improved version of the CDC. And then I do also just want to say tonight's an amazing night. Appreciate everybody's hard work. It's really important that we show that hard work. I know we all have differences, but this should be a night of enthusiasm and really showcasing the hard work that's been done by a small group of people with very little resources, including volunteer work and the work of poor people in this community with very little support from anybody. The fact that we've gotten this far is amazing, and now it's time we find this support community-wide for this effort, and I hope that's a message that you can carry forward. We can all keep working together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicely done, thank you.
And with that, we're adjourned. Oh, sorry, did you have a comment? Oh, my apologies, Wanda, yes, please.
I just want to thank you guys for being here and handling your business, and then also bring your attention to the newest group of FAR interns. We look very much forward to showing up at all your meetings and
Will you
participating.
introduce us, please?
Sure. We've got Ardell here, that's Mary, that's Miss Judy, and Michael in the background. Sonia is also a FAR intern. But she's been doing the hard work for a long time.
Yes. I'm so glad you're still here. Thank you and welcome. Oh, that's good news. Thank you. That's a really great way to kick off the evening. We look forward to seeing you all at our meetings. Okay, with that, we are adjourned. If you have just been appointed to the CDC, if you would meet briefly, if you all are available, we'll take 5 minutes and conduct our business. And if you're not a member, I believe there's some snacks in the back. And, yeah, we'll talk loud. You can come around.
Hey, nice to have you on board. This is going to be great working with you, Brenda. I'm really looking forward to this.
Miss Leslie, were you helping us take notes? Okay. As the Charlottesville Development Corporation, this is our first meeting. Welcome to you all. If I might have a roll call of CDC members.
Chair Jones,
Present.
Vice Chair Redker, Commissioner Bellamy,
Present.
Commissioner Oliver,
Here.
Commissioner Osteen,
Here.
Commissioner Slaughter, Commissioner Talbert, and Commissioner Kelly.
Yep.
Here. Thank you. And here at our inaugural meeting, the first thing that I would like to bring you all's attention to is a request for an amendment to the Articles of Incorporation, basically the bylaws of the CDC. And I would like to request a motion for the amendment of Article 7 so that it would become, sorry, I'm trying to read. I would like to request amendment so that Article 7 will now read in the future, "The affairs of the corporation shall be conducted by a board of directors, which is expressly empowered to adopt, alter, or revoke bylaws of the corporation. The board of directors for the corporation shall consist of the 7 members of the Charlottesville Redevelopment and Housing Authority Board of Commissioners." Would anyone like to make that motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. With that, Ms. Kelly, I'm sorry. The shortest term of service ever.
Give her a watch or something.
Are there other comments, questions, or things for the bylaws that we need to attend to this evening? If not, then we're adjourned. Thank you. Yes, Ms. Wilcox? City Council's coming now. All right, well done.